This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Well, it is Thursday, December 5th. You know what that means? 1 month. The 1 month anniversary of one of the great days in modern American history. Donald Trump prevailed in a landslide, an electoral college landslide a month ago today. It's still hard to believe it's real. I remember being very happy on the night of November 5th, but I didn't go to bed totally confident. I think I stayed up till like 3 a.m, and I still wondered, will I wake up to a different electoral map? Will it turn out like 2020? Will they find a lot more votes for Kamala Harris? Well, it didn't happen. They put up the worst candidate in American history, and Trump prevailed. And now we have 46 days to go until the real work gets done. But they're starting. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are preparing to make major cuts. Some Democrats are jumping on board, which is good. John Fetterman, Ro Khanna, Democrats signaling that they're willing to work with Musk and Ramaswamy. That's a good sign. Obviously, there's lots of things they can't cut. The Biden administration is Trump-proofing the federal government at some levels. I love this one. 42,000 federal workers, mostly Social Security Department people, signed a deal with the Biden administration yesterday that will allow them to work from home till 2029. Get ready. Once again, Trump has put Democrats in an untenable position. They are working for the bureaucracy, working to stop Vivek and Musk from cutting waste, abuse, fraud. Democrats are on the side of fraud right now. That's what Trump has done. Put them in a position where they must defend things like this. Federal workers who can stay home and do nothing all day for only 42,000. But we'll see more of that for the next 46 days. But today's going to be a huge day in this country because Daniel Penny might get convicted. That will be one of the great outrages of all time. The jury is back. They're deliberating. Day three, they're considering the charges against this American hero. And all I'll say is if they indeed come back with a guilty verdict for any charge, that'll be the end. That'll be the end of good Samaritans in this country. We will never see anybody step up to protect the innocent, the vulnerable. Again, this is what Democrats do today. They protect the criminals. In a related development, we can get to this. The Boston City Council voted yesterday unanimously, 13-0, to remain a sanctuary city. Yes, Massachusetts Democrats are continuing their effort to protect illegal alien criminals, rapists, drug dealers. They want you to know, you want to be protected from Tom Homan and Donald Trump? Come to Boston. Here we are. There it is. Boston City Council unanimously votes to reaffirm Boston's status as a sanctuary city to protect immigrants. Well, that would be illegal immigrants. That will be criminals. On the same day, ICE grabbed another illegal alien rapist in Rhode Island yesterday. Yes, it's a daily thing in New England. Finding, grabbing, arresting illegal alien rapists who come to New England, not for the clam chowder, not for the history. They come to New England because they know Democrats are invested in protecting them. That's what Democrats do in 2024. They protect illegal alien criminals, and they don't give a damn about taxpayers. And any minute now, we may get a verdict. Have we seen anything yet, Ironhead? Keep an eye out because
nothing yet.
We thought, we hoped, we prayed it'd be a quick resolution and they would let this American hero walk. It is incredible what's happening in New York right now. There is no decent person, nobody who thinks Daniel Penny is anything but a hero, a 26-year-old former Marine who was in no danger from crazed drug addict Jordan Neely. He wasn't going to hurt Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny's a big guy. He's a healthy, strong guy. What he did was protect the vulnerable, protect the innocent, the women, the children, the elderly on that subway car in May of 2023. He stepped up when others didn't, and he stopped a man who was threatening to kill people, a guy who was a career criminal, was a vagrant, was homeless, and had 26 prior arrests, many violent crimes. A violent, drug-crazed criminal was threatening out loud to hurt people, to kill people, said he didn't mind going to jail, didn't mind dying that day. So it was a genuine threat to innocent people on the subway. And Penny stepped up. You know why they charged him? You know why he's on trial for his life right now? Because he's white. Do you have any doubt that if he were African American or if Jordan Neely were white, there'd be no case? That's what they do in New York. They make everything. That's what Alvin Bragg does. We know that. He downgrades most felonies. He lets people walk for violent crimes. Happens every day in New York, but not Daniel Penny, not this hero who has been put through hell. He's facing 15 years in prison. And if it weren't New York, this case would be a joke. He'd never been charged, but he's a big, strong white guy, and the mob is demanding it. When he walks into court every day and out of court, the mob is there yelling, guilty, guilty. Guilty of what? Protecting people? You know what? Many of the people he protected, you know what they are? They're African Americans. They're old. They're female. They're kids. They're the ones who are in danger. This is one of the great outrages we've seen in modern American history. The fact that they've even put this man on trial is insane. In New York City, the same DA that tried to put Trump in jail for bookkeeping violations, for hush money, that fell apart. But this goes on. Today, the jury is asking to read more testimony from some medical expert who said even if he had fentanyl in his system, she still would have said that the cause of death was strangulation. So, in other words, she's a prosecution witness who doesn't care that Jordan Neely was on drugs, that Jordan Neely was alive when police showed up, and they didn't want to administer life-saving care. They said, no, don't give him mouth-to-mouth because you never know what you might catch. They were afraid to try to save him when they showed up. I would say when they heard that testimony, the case was over. But no, we must put the big, strong, healthy guy on trial for his life. You want to know who's trying to put him away? You don't even have to look at the screen right now. If you're just listening, just picture the prosecutor right out of Central Casting, a homely woman with glasses, a white woman, of course, an angry white female liberal.
Vermont-looking resident, for sure.
Is she not exactly what you'd expect? And people have looked into her record. This is a woman who had a case of a guy who murdered an 86-year-old man who was at an ATM trying to take out money. He robs him and murders him, and she decided to downgrade the charge. Why? Because the perpetrator, the murderer, had a tough background. Yeah, she looked into it and decided he lived through some trauma, and she took that into consideration, and the guy got 10 years for murdering an 86-year-old man in cold blood at an ATM. She wants Daniel Penny to do more time than the guy who committed that crime. That's who's prosecuting this insane case in New York City right now. If he is found guilty, she wins. This This is the person who will be celebrating today if she puts Penny away for stepping up and protecting people on that subway car. Let's listen to this awful talk about her view, her outlook on justice in America. Go ahead.
So I'm going to give you an example of something that I did with a recent case of mine, and this was has never been done in my office. I had a murder case where the defendant did not intentionally kill the victim. He went into an ATM on the Upper West Side and tried to rob an individual. Unfortunately, it was an older individual. He was 86. And in the course of the robbery, he fell to the ground. And as a result, he died. This is, under the law, a felony murder, which is akin to intentional murder. However, when I first got the case, I learned, I took the time to learn about the defendant. And it was a strong case, so it wasn't about a whodunit. I knew immediately who did it. I could prove it. I could take it to trial that day and win it. But it wasn't about that. It was that the more I learned about the defendant and his life and the circumstances, the kinds of things that Jarrell was talking about, that one should take into account the trauma of that individual, I really felt incredibly sorry for him that he had gotten to that point in his life where he felt like there was no other choice but to commit this robbery.
She felt incredibly sorry for the guy who murdered an 86-year-old man, an Asian man, at an ATM, robbed and murdered him. And she admits the law called for intentional murder. And she downgraded the charges because she looked into his background and felt sorry for him. She wants Penny to do more time than the perp. His name was Michael Lee. The victim's name was Young Kun Kim. He was a college professor and a resident of Upper West Side, just going to take out a few bucks at the ATM, murdered. And this evil woman didn't want the guy to pay the price, didn't want to sentence him for the crime he committed. She wants Penny to do more time than Mike. That's who's prosecuting a case in New York City for Alvin Bragg, that bloated old fraud, that Soros DA. That's happening in our biggest city right now. Let's all pray. Let's all pray that the jury does the right thing. I thought from the beginning this jury would acquit him because most of them have been on the subway. Most of them have been in that situation where a crazy person is threatening people and they're wondering, could I be next? There are 5 men and 7 women on the jury. And I think it's probably 1 or 2 who has who's holding it up right now. It cannot be unanimous guilty, but even a hung jury is an injustice because that woman will want to do it again. That woman is determined to put Daniel Penny away. And you know, if Daniel Penny were black, this wouldn't be happening. We have to be, this cannot happen in this country. They cannot put this man away. This year, there have been 8 murders on the subway in New York City. 8 murders. There would have been more. That would have been last year, but there would have been. Jordan Neely said he was going to kill someone. He was threatening these people. This is an American hero, a good Samaritan. And by the way, he didn't do it alone. If you look at the video, he's got he's got Neely in a chokehold, and there's a couple other guys. One guy is holding Neely's arms. He's not charged. You know why? Because he's also an African American. This woman is a racist. She's a menace. This woman is evil, what she's doing to Penny right now. And we might, I'm looking up right now. No, jury deliberating, day 3. Day 3, just putting Penny through this, making him suffer through this case. Jordan Neely's family is now suing Daniel Penny. Hopefully, Penny will win that too. Hopefully, the GoFundMe. I don't think it's a GoFundMe. I think it's like a Go whatever. They're raising money. Hopefully he raises a fortune and lives comfortably, because he doesn't deserve this. We don't deserve this. There's a lot of really positive developments right now in this country because of what happened 1 month ago today. But this New York City is just, I mean, you shouldn't go there. You shouldn't go there, especially if you're a healthcare, a health insurance CEO. We'll get to the latest on that case. It is insane. This case, the murder of Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, there's some new developments, and it is crazy. We'll get to that. And we got to do this one too. According to Politico, Joe Biden is considering preemptive pardons for people he thinks might be targeted by Donald Trump. They haven't supposedly committed any crimes. They're not guilty of anything yet, but they may get a preemptive pardon to protect them. And the list includes Anthony Fauci. So the Democrats are throwing in with Fauci, who we now know funded the Wuhan lab. We know that. We got the House committee results the other day. We went over them. We know we funded the lab that created the virus. The guy who did that and lied about it over and over again, Democrats have his back. They want to give him a pardon. But Adam Schiff says he doesn't want one. And he said not long ago, he's dead set against preemptive pardons. We'll get to that. It's crazy. It's just nuts. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
Do you wake up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, or ringing in your ears from grinding and clenching your teeth at night? I've been through this. It's fairly common, and dentists charge $600 for a bruxism night guard. Many people are now discovering the Brux Night Guard. Unlike regular night guards that go all the way to the back of the teeth, Brux Night Guard only covers the front teeth. This unique design is what sets Brux Night Guard apart from all other guards. It only covers the front teeth, so the bite force is directed away from the back, where many people grind and clench to help reduce jaw pain and still protect the teeth. You mold it at home to the top and bottom teeth. And unlike other guards, it is made in America and uses 2 materials for added durability. Order a Brux Night Guard today and use the code MAX22 to get 10% off plus free shipping. Go to bruxnightguard.com and enter the code word MAX22. Oh God, I hope Tom Homan's first day he arrests everybody in the Boston City Hall. Wouldn't that be so great? I'll be over there. I'll be there with my iPhone recording it all. That has to happen. Tom Homan, here's where you start. Boston, please start day 1, January 20th. Boston, come here with your entire, whatever. Come here with 100 agents. Start arresting these people who are facilitating the invasion of illegal aliens. All right, we got to get to this story. It is wild. You've probably already seen the video of the assassination of Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. All the TV detectives are on there speculating and theorizing on what the motivation was. I think we know. We have a motive. The guy, as we know, 6:45 yesterday morning, waited outside Brian Thompson's hotel when Thompson came out, followed him down the sidewalk briefly, pulled out his gun, which has a silencer, and just unloaded in Thompson's back. And then when he fell, he shot him again, shot him 3 times. The shell casings, here's the motive. The shell casings had messages written on them. Here it is from the New York Post. The NYPD is investigating the message on the bullet casings, which appear to include the words deny, depose, and defend, engraved on live rounds left behind by the masked assassin who shot Thompson at 6:46 before fleeing. The words are strikingly similar to a 2010 book condemning the insurance business. Yes, there was a book called, that's the name of the book, Delay, Deny, Defend. Why Insurance Companies Don't Pay Claims and What You Can Do About It by Jay Hyman. There it is. So this is a disgruntled customer. I would guess this makes the job easier for the NYPD. He also, obviously, some real planning went into this. But I'm watching the video and I'm thinking they have plenty of evidence. These guys, they're gonna get him. He's on camera at Starbucks ordering a coffee and a water and 2 power bars. He leaves Starbucks, throws the stuff, the cup in the trash. The cops got that. They found the cup. He used an e-bike, which you need a credit card to use, and then he abandoned it. He had a backpack, they believe, with a change of clothes in it, but they obviously had a mask on. But they could see his nose and his eyes, and the cops said a light-skinned individual. Why do they say that? Why can't they just say a white guy? I mean, obviously it's a white guy, a disgruntled customer of United Healthcare. Thompson's wife, from whom he was separated, which is something else they're looking into, of course. They always look at the spouse. But it sounds to me, she said he got threats. So he got threats recently. So I assume the cops are going through the threats. They're going to find somebody who was determined to kill this man because a claim was denied. You want to hear the craziest thing? There are people, lots of people online celebrating this because they hate health insurance companies or because they've had claims denied in the past. You know who Taylor Lorenz is? She's this whack job journalist. I believe used to work at the New York Times and then the Washington Post. There she is. Taylor Lorenz, who was a journalist in good standing not that long ago. She's a total whack job who still, wears a mask.
I hate this woman so much.
She wrote, get to her message on here. She puts a picture of the CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield on social media and says, what does she say? Something like that these people, it's like open season on these people.
Open season. And right after that guy got shot, she posted this post of the Blue Cross Blue Shield CEO, which
that is, I mean,
disgusting.
How is that not a threat? I mean, FBI, check this woman out, because a healthcare company may have denied a claim. She wants more healthcare CEOs to be targeted, and then she does it openly. That's her. That's her name. That's her account. And I understand she's not a stable person. But until about 5 minutes ago, she was working for the Washington Post, and now she's celebrating the murder of get that last post I sent you from Prison Mitch about Taylor Swift putting these CEOs in the crosshairs. This woman is sick. I mean, obviously, she's unstable. She's the one that scolds people in 2024 for not wearing masks during COVID. Now she's saying, maybe these CEOs, these healthcare CEOs, these insurance CEOs, maybe this isn't such a bad thing. Let's just kill them in cold blood on the streets of New York City. Can you put that up there?
Yeah, pulling it up right now.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And she was also complaining that male journalists didn't like what she posted and making it about herself again.
This post has like thousands of likes. She writes, people have very justified hatred toward insurance company CEOs because these executives are responsible for an unfathomable amount of death and suffering. As someone against death and suffering, I think it's good to call out this broken system and the people in power who enable it. She posted that yesterday, the day the guy, Brian Thompson, was assassinated by some disgruntled customer. I'm going to guess, I'll have to check with Elon Musk, but isn't that a violation of terms of Twitter, of any social media company? Hell, you got banned on Twitter not that long ago. She look, that is unbelievable.
It's insane.
She posts a little cartoon, if you're just listening, and it says CEO down with a big smiley face star. CEO down, not down, murdered, assassinated. And this sick woman, by the way, her handle is from Blue Sky. She left Twitter and went to Blue Sky and posted this. So, if you want to go to Blue Sky, this is the kind of thing you could see. Journalists celebrating the assassination.
There's a bunch of pedophiles on Blue Sky.
This is incredible. But I guess, you know what? I feel confident they will solve this case quickly. The NYPD is good at this. And this guy left a few clues. I mean, hell, they got his whole escape route. They have his bike, his e-bike, I think.
You see how they found that? Some kid got all the city bike info and somehow pieced together by the numbers where this guy was.
And we're going to find out, his mother or his wife or someone that got denied a claim. So his solution is to assassinate the CEO, who, by the way, had no security. Anthony Fauci has 27 guys around him all day and night. And this guy, CEO for a company that made $8 billion in the last quarter, a guy who was making $10 million a year, had no security.
Definitely should have had it.
No
With Fauci and stuff, and it doesn't matter what side of the aisle people fall on. People like Fauci definitely should have security.
Fauci, I don't think you have to worry about him, because it's not the people who hate Fauci don't murder people. The people,
there's bad apples in every bunch.
Let's get to Fauci, because this is incredible to me. The Politico writes yesterday. Here's the story from Politico. President Biden's senior aides are conducting vigorous internal debate over whether to issue preemptive pardons to a range of current and former public officials who could be targeted by Donald Trump. Biden's aides are deeply concerned about a range of current and former officials who find themselves facing inquiries and even indictments after the appointment of Kash Patel to lead the FBI. Patel has publicly vowed to pursue Trump's critics. Now, that's a lie. He's publicly vowed to pursue criminals, people who crossed the line and committed crimes. That's what they never specify. It's not Trump's critics. It's criminals who violated the law to put Trump in prison, to bankrupt Trump. These people must be held accountable. There's no Republican who has a problem with Kash Patel pursuing criminals. But it says those who could face exposure include such members of Congress, Adam Schiff and Liz Cheney. And also mentioned by Biden's aides for a pardon is Anthony Fauci. Now, Joe Biden last weekend called Anthony Fauci a true hero. He called him a hero. The same weekend, we got the final COVID report from the House that said everything Fauci did was wrong, if not criminal. So this man who has lied under oath 100 times, Joe Biden is determined to protect him with a preemptive pardon. I mean, is that really partisan? Is it really Democrat versus Republican? If we know Fauci lied about the origin of COVID because he funded the lab from which it came, why? Why should you want to protect this monster? We know now there has never been a bureaucrat, hell, there's never been a public official in American history who's done more damage, more harm to the American people. We know school closures were wrong. We know he closed 160,000 businesses. They went out of business, including 96,000 approximately that never returned. So almost 100,000 small businesses were ruined by Fauci because all the social distancing stuff was just made up. The mask didn't work. The vaccine didn't work. Everything he said was wrong. And we know why. He did it for the money. He sold vaccines to the American public because he was a stooge for Big Pharma, and he made a fortune. We know that. Why would you want to protect someone that evil? Why? Because Republicans don't like him? That is insane. If they committed crimes, they will be charged. They haven't been charged yet. Hell, Democrats don't consider Fauci a criminal. They continue to honor him. Biden honored him last weekend. He's got buildings named after him on college campuses. Why? Just because Republicans don't like him, they decide to deify him, make him a hero. Now, I don't think I've ever heard of a pardon for someone who hasn't even been charged with a crime, let alone convicted. You're going to give a pardon to somebody, Schiff, Cheney, Fauci, who haven't been charged with anything yet? That's unprecedented. That is bizarre, saying we're going to pardon a guy who's innocent, essentially. Yes, I'm innocent. Why do you need a pardon? This is hilarious. So 4 years ago, I don't even remember this, when Trump was leaving office, this apparently was discussed. Would Trump give a pardon to his family, his kids, preemptively, even though they hadn't been charged with a crime? And the and Joy Reid, of course, thinks this is crazy, and so does Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff, who is the biggest liar, the biggest scumbag in Congress. He just became a senator, and he lied about Russia collusion, the Russia hoax, every day for about 2 years. Went on cable news and lied, said he has evidence that Trump colluded with Russia. It was a lie. He repeated it night in and night out. Is that criminal? I don't know, but he hasn't been charged with anything. He wants, Biden wants to give him a pardon, but here's what Adam Schiff had to say about preemptive pardons 4 years ago. Go ahead.
Barack Obama never had to think about whether he needed to pardon Sasha and Valia, and yet Donald Trump is reportedly discussing pardons for his kids. The presidential pardon was originally meant to grant the president the power to temper justice with mercy. It was not enshrined in our Constitution so that a dishonorable man could reward his criminal allies, friends, and family for their corrupt practices, considering preemptive pardons for his adult children. Late last night, we learned that Trump has discussed preemptive pardons for his 3 eldest progeny. The news was first reported by the New York Times. And joining me now is Congressman Adam Schiff of California, chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. Have you ever heard of somebody getting a preemptive pardon who was innocent of all crime? Who's just an innocent person? Have you ever heard of that? Just somebody getting a blanket pardon and they're an innocent person?
But no, it's the president's own family. It's people that have been covering up for the president in addition to his own family. And so there is a self-interest at play as well. It's been essentially a den of thieves environment. And so I think the president views this as his way of trying to protect those that have protected him.
That is so great. That's from the great Maze Moore, who you got to follow on Twitter, Maze. He's so good. That's 4 years ago, Joy Reid saying a corrupt president protecting his corrupt family members. And now Joe Biden is considering giving that guy a preemptive pardon. You know what? Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it, because all we'll do will create the perception that they're guilty, and hopefully state prosecutors can go after Fauci for the many, many crimes he's committed. I want that more than anything. I want this little monster, this evil elf, to be exposed, because it is just crazy.
The best thing, though, is they won't be able to plead the fifth.
That's true. That's true, which I'm looking forward to. Hunter Biden going before a House committee, going before the Senate, and being forced to testify. And if he lies, which he will, they can then charge him with perjury. So it's not like Hunter's totally out of the woods. By the way, the more I think about what Biden did, the crazier it is. I mean, he obviously made fools out of all his supporters in the media, in the Democrat Party, who said he wouldn't pardon them. Obviously, it was a lie. For 6 months, he lied over and over again and forced Karine Jean-Pierre to lie for him. Now, he could have waited until his son was sentenced and commuted the sentence. He could have given a bunch of pardons like presidents do, like in one day, pardon like 50 people. He could have found, some old lady like Trump did with Alice Johnson, find some old lady who'd been in prison, give her a pardon, commute her sentence, found a couple of people who've done some time, questionable convictions. He's going to do that. He's going to pardon a bunch of people in January. If Hunter was like one of 50, it would have absolutely muted the effect. And if he did it like Christmas Eve or January 19th, there wouldn't have been nearly the outcry. But he did it on a Sunday night, which meant Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every Democrat would be asked, do you support this? And many of them, hell, Gavin Newsom said he disagrees with this. He's very disappointed. It was just like everything else Biden did. It was just so stupid and ill thought out, this pardon for Hunter. And you don't respect the system. You don't respect the jury. You don't respect the DOJ when you do it the way he did. And he lied in his statement when he said it was politically motivated and his son was targeted. And even the judge who had to sign off on this said in the final report that Joe Biden lied, that this wasn't politically motivated. His son wasn't targeted. His son got special privileges. His son, anybody else, any other American would have done time, particularly for the tax charges. The prisons are full of people who did less than Hunter Biden did. It was the ultimate in white, Democrat, rich privilege. That's what it was. And everybody knows it. And Joe Biden ran off to Africa and took a nap when all his supporters, all the Democrats, all the Pod Save America guys, all MSNBC hosts were forced to defend it. And it was a very difficult job. Like defending Joe Biden is the toughest job in the country right now as he staggers and stumbles to the finish line. All right, we got to get to this case before the Supreme Court. It was huge. This is huge. Again, the pendulum is swinging. The tide is turning. People are waking up to the madness that is transgender ideology right now. And it was exposed yet again before the Supreme Court. And Trump is doing something that I strongly disagree with. This is bad Trump. What he's doing this weekend is really annoying me. I'll tell you about that and more. But first,
Excuse me.
a large part of managing a business's finances is tedious, repetitive work to ensure accurate bookkeeping. Well, Ramp helps streamline this work, giving business operators more time to focus on what matters most. Are you looking to cut costs and improve your business's bottom line? The best business operators have turned to Ramp to help them stop wasteful spending and improve their finance operations. Ramp is the corporate card and spend management software designed to help you save time and put money back in your pocket. With Ramp, spend policies are built into the card so you can prevent wasteful spending before it happens. You can customize spending limits and restrictions so employees are empowered to purchase what your business needs, and you can have peace of mind. Ramp plays the bad cop so you don't have to. Detecting policy violations, chasing missing documentation, requesting repayment, and locking cards of non-compliant employees. Ramp's accounting software automatically collects receipts and categorizes your expenses in real time so you don't have to. Say goodbye to manual expense reports. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/Gerry. That's RAMP.com/Gerry. Cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC, terms and conditions apply. Get $250 when you join Ramp. Go to ramp.com/Gerry. All right, small business owners, listen up. If you're tired of losing money to credit card processing fees, we've got something you need to hear. With 24/7 payments, you can eliminate up to 99% of those fees thanks to their fee elimination program. Here's how it works. You pass the processing fees on to customers who pay with credit cards, and in return, you can offer them a discount for paying with cash or debit. It's a simple, effective, and fully compliant way to save thousands every month. Right now, 24/7 Payments is switching over 250 businesses every month to this program, and they can have you set up in less than 24 hours. Call 855-504-0799 today or visit them on the web at 247payments.com. That's the numbers 247payments.com. Trump is standing by his Secretary of Defense nominee, Pete Hegseth. That is good. Good Trump. He should. He should say, we will go through the process. Hegseth is on the ropes again. I'm supportive. I like him. I hope he powers through this. I don't think he will. Sadly, there's already Republican senators who are getting squishy, and I've said this before. It doesn't matter what I think or what Trump thinks or what, Will Cain says about Pete Hegseth. He would be a terrific Secretary of Defense. He would do exactly what Trump needs, what the Pentagon needs. His top priority is getting rid of all the woke crap. No more DEI, no more climate change nonsense. He would focus on war fighters. That's what we need. But Pete Hegseth has issues, and the media has come at him. Here's where I come down on this. Megyn Kelly said it best. You cannot end a man's career, essentially. You cannot end the nomination of a man based solely on anonymous sources. That's what they're doing. They have nobody on the record. NBC had 10 anonymous Fox employees or former Fox employees calling him a drunk and a womanizer. Same with the New Yorker, same with the New York Times. You can't just rely solely on anonymous sources. That's just wrong, particularly when all the on-the-record people, all of them, support him. All his coworkers at Fox, guys in the military, Medal of Honor winners, veterans groups, they all support him. And he said, and his mother said, he's a changed man. When he came back from combat, yes, he drank too much. He did some dumb things. He had some bad marriages. That's personal. The professional side, actually, what he will do as Secretary of Defense is what matters most. Unfortunately, when the media puts the pressure on these squishy Republican senators, he will lose. Sadly, he will lose. I hate to say it, but he's probably already lost at least 3 of them. And yesterday, Joni Ernst, John Cornyn, Lindsey Graham were all expressing skepticism. He only has to lose one more because he's lost. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski. These are people who voted for Merrick Garland, who voted for Lloyd Austin. And they will vote against Pete Hegseth, unfortunately, because Republican moderates are just the worst. These people are just the worst. They're not tough. They're not strong. They're weak people who will buckle under pressure from the mainstream media, who has made Hegseth their number one target. So I don't think if he makes it to the hearings, he's going to make it through. He's smart, man. He's articulate. I listened to the whole Megyn Kelly interview. He's got all the answers. He says that guy who came back from combat and did some dumb things, he's not that guy anymore. I believe him. But it won't matter because he's relying on the backbone of Susan Collins and John Cornyn and Joni Ernst. He's sadly not going to make it, but I'm glad Trump's standing by him and telling him just keep fighting. That's what he should do. That's good Trump. Bad Trump? The Trump transition team announced that he will do his first interview since November 5th. His first sit-down one-on-one interview. Is it with Dan Bongino or Sean Hannity or Rob Finnerty? No. Kristen Welker. He's going to go on Meet the Press. As I've been saying for a month, Donald, you don't need them anymore. You won. You're not running again. They can't indict you. They can't arrest you. You have the DOJ. You have the FBI on your side, or you will. You don't need Kristen Welker. She hates you. Meet the Press is the network is dying. NBC, they're all dying. CBS, CNN, Why throw them a lifeline? His guy, his top advisor, Jason Miller, went on with Rob Finnerty and said, yeah, he wants to go and in one of these enemy territory, go and have, go in a hostile environment, do an interview. I respect that. But why? He also said that the networks are dying, that NBC is dying. So why? Why are you throwing them a lifeline? This is going to be her highest rated show ever. Why? I hate this about Trump. He wants them to like him. He's still convinced that he can persuade the New York Times, NBC, Kristen Welker. He can win them over, but he doesn't have to anymore. Those days are over. You don't need them. Give them the middle finger. Tell them to screw. Don't take their calls. Why would you sit down with Kristen Welker? What a bad idea. All right. Speaking of bad ideas, this fight in the Supreme Court right now is big. It's huge and it's going great. At least it appears to be. As we talked about yesterday, the ACLU and the Biden administration is fighting for the rights of parents and doctors to mutilate and castrate children. It's one of the real big culture war battles of our time. And we're on the right side, they're on the wrong side of history. It has never been more clear than yesterday that these people are just incoherent and insane. Again, we're going to look back 10, 20, 50 years and say, how did we ever allow this? How did we ever allow doctors to permanently sterilize confused children? How did we legally allow this to happen? It's just insane. So the challenge is against a state law. Tennessee outlawed these barbaric procedures on children. 26 states have outlawed this procedure. It should be 50. There should be a national ban. There will be once everyone wakes up, but they're fighting in court. Biden administration and ACLU are fighting in front of our highest court for the rights of parents and doctors to permanently alter a child, a kid who they tell, again, there's nothing, well, there's only one thing crueler than telling a child that he or she was born in the wrong body. And that would be telling him, we have a solution. We will give you a double mastectomy. We'll give you puberty blockers, irreversible medication and surgery to change you forever, to sterilize you. Then you'll feel better. Think of just on a common sense level. Forget the law. Forget the medical side of this. On a common sense level, human level, you are in the wrong body, kid, but we can change it. We can just, we'll put you under, we'll perform a surgery, we'll pump you full of drugs, and everything will be all better. We're telling children that. That's just beyond insane. And it was never more evident than yesterday. So a couple of the judges, the justices who were going to side with Biden administration and the ACLU, Sonia Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown Jackson, showed just how nuts this is. KBJ compared life-altering, gender-affirming care to interracial marriage. And of course, that argument fell apart because it's just the opposite, you know. When you're talking about interracial marriage, you're talking about immutable characteristics. When you're talking about gender-affirming care, it's just the opposite. They're telling you that your gender is not an immutable characteristic, that you can change it. And we're not talking about adults here, which is crazy enough. We're talking about kids. And then there was Sonia Sotomayor. This clip is amazing. Again, we're talking about changing a kid forever, something that they can't ever come back from, a confused 10 or 12-year-old. And this idiot who somehow made it on our highest court compared it to taking an aspirin. Listen to this.
eliminate the risk of detransitioners. So it becomes a pure exercise of weighing benefits versus risk. And the question of how many minors have to have their bodies irreparably harmed for unproven benefits is one that is best left.
I'm sorry, counselor. Every medical treatment has a risk, even taking aspirin. There is always going to be a percentage of the population under any medical treatment that's going to suffer a harm. So the question in my mind is not, do policymakers decide whether one person's life is more valuable than the millions of others who get relief from this treatment? The question is, can you stop one sex from the other?
This is a Supreme Court justice who just compared life-altering surgeries and medications to children, stopping puberty, to performing a double mastectomy on a kid, to taking an aspirin. There's risks in everything, including taking an aspirin. I'm sorry, does taking an aspirin alter you forever?
Yeah, I took a aspirin when I was vacationing in Mexico once, and I woke up with breast implants.
Yeah, and your life has never been the same. This is who is thankfully, they're in the minority. They're not going to win this. And thankfully, for at least the next 4 years, there won't be any more Sonia Sotomayor's on the Supreme Court. But that is downright frightening that woman gets to make these monumental decisions, and which will affect millions. They're going to lose, thank God. And these parents and doctors, here's what the media is doing too. They ignore the detransitioners who were at the Supreme Court. Chloe Coles, this heroic young woman who underwent this stuff when she was a kid, regrets it. Obviously, many of them regret it. They don't want to talk to the detransitioners. Chloe Cole had it. Double mastectomy at 13. Her voice, her face will never be the same. And she looks back and said, why'd they do this to me? And she doesn't blame her parents. Her parents were pressured by doctors who will be sued. That's another reason this is coming to an end, because of the liability. These detransitioners are suing doctors. That will have an effect. But do you have this clip from CNN? CNN, of course, like the rest of the mainstream media, wants, it's wonderful to castrate little kids, to perform double mastectomies and pump them full of puberty blockers. That's gender affirming, which is insane. Just the term is insane. But they find 3 kids who are changing their gender, and their mothers, of course, the fathers aren't there. The fathers are rarely in the picture. But this is one of the most insane clips I've ever seen. Listen to what they've done to these children. Listen to this poor kid, this poor boy, whose mother has decided he's going to be a girl. And listen to what they've done to this poor kid's mind. I mean, they've just ruined this child. This can't go on. It won't go on. Soon it will be a dark chapter in our history. But listen to this and tell me this isn't the craziest thing. This mother doesn't belong in a friggin' rubber room. Go ahead.
What concerns have you had about speaking out?
That I'm gonna be murdered. One day I'm gonna be walking down the street and somebody's gonna come up and shoot me or something.
That's a really scary thing to be worrying about at 10 years old.
Yeah, that should not be a worry.
Michelle, what's going through your mind as you hear your daughter say this?
Your daughter.
It's just hard to hear her say that. And she asked me three questions after she heard who won the election. Are we gonna have to move? Are they gonna take me away from you? And am I not gonna be able to get my medicine? It's frightening.
We've seen Republicans put a lot of money and energy into transgender issues. More than $200 million were spent this election cycle in anti-trans ads. What does that feel like to have so much attention by all these politicians on your identity?
It makes me feel like they think we're puppets
that they can play with, and it's just so wrong.
Bring back loony bins.
Look at that mother. I mean, these people are evil. This poor child, he's 10 years old, and he thinks he's going to get murdered because Donald Trump won the election. He's got long hair. That's fine. You want to have long hell. These mothers are just destroying their own children in the name of gender affirming care. These kids, and they're afraid they're going to take them away. God, this is a sickness, and they're not going to win this case. Hopefully, the whole country, we will ban this. You want to grow the kid's hair out and change his name, that's bad enough. But they want to change their kid's life forever. Something you can never come back from. Your most primal instinct as a parent is protect your child. But these women, it's not about their kids. It's about them. These children are like fashion accessories. Look at me. I have a transgender child, and Trump's going to murder him, take him away. Maybe that wouldn't be the worst idea, but God, this is just sick, and it's coming to an end. Oh, by the way, the LBGTA announced that they will not allow no men on the women's professional golf tour. That's progress. Yeah, here it is. Here's the lead attorney for the ACLU. I know we played a clip from her yesterday. Boston's own Chase Strangio telling you that 2-year-olds know when they were born in the wrong body. Talk about someone who belongs in a rubber room. This guy is a menace. This woman is a menace. She wants to transition. She didn't transition until she was in her 20s, but she wants 2-year-olds to know that they were born in the wrong body. Listen to this whack job.
I would say is nobody has to provide this medication to adolescents. These are not doctors being forced to provide this medication. These are doctors who are wanting to treat their patients in the best way that they know how, based on the best available evidence to us. And these are young people who may have known since they were 2 years old exactly who they are, who suffered for 6-7 years before they had any relief. And what's happening here, it's not the kids who are consenting to this treatment, it's the parents who are consenting to the treatment. And as a parent, I would say when our children are suffering, we are suffering. And these are parents who love their children, who are listening to the advice of their doctors, of the mainstream medical community, and doing what's right for their kids. And the state of Tennessee has displaced their judgment.
This person is evil. 2-year-olds know they were born in the wrong body and must get treatment. The child is suffering, and their solution, let's lop off his popo. Let's remove her breasts. She'll feel better. Are we listening to this? Are we listening to what these monsters are doing to children? It's just sick, insane, and hopefully it's coming to an end. All right, we got to leave it there on that note. Man, hopefully, we're not going to find out for like 6 months the decision of the Supreme Court, but hopefully they will shoot down this madness and it will spread across the country, and we will not see any more children have to go through this insanity. But that will do it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
Oh my God. Is she crazy?
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, too many. Thank you.